What would your life look like if you mastered the secrets of cash flow and made money serve you instead of control you? What if the secret to financial independence isn't earning more, but mastering the flow of the money you already make? Are you ready to discover how the financially free keep money moving in their favor while others stay trapped in debt? What if the solution is not earning more but mastering the quiet flow of cash that already passes through your life? Welcome to a truly transformative journey. This audiobook, The Secret of Cash Flow Mastery, is your essential guide to understanding the true nature of money and, more importantly, how to make it work for you. Drawing on the timeless wisdom of financial giants, we reveal the core difference between working for an income and creating assets that generate true cash flow. As the great investor often says, it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how hard it works for you. We'll explore the often overlooked strategies that separate the financially free from everyone else, showing you how to move from being a financial victim to a financial master. Understand this: many people are so poor because they are only trained to work for money, not to have money work for them. This mastery is about more than just earning. It's about intelligent financial design. Stay with this audiobook until the very end, and you will feel a fundamental shift in how you see, use, and multiply your money. Like this audiobook, subscribe to the channel, and start making your cash flow serve you today.
Chapter 1. Command your cash flow. Before it commands you. Quote, "Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. When you take command of your cash flow, you reclaim that control and set the foundation for freedom. The first step is brutal honesty. You must know exactly how much money comes in and how much goes out. No vague guesses and no hopeful estimates. Track every source of income and every expense with precision. This is not a task you do once and forget. It is a daily discipline. Financial discipline begins with clarity. Clarity brings power. Power brings freedom. A strong money mindset is not about fear. It is about responsibility and intention. Too many people believe that earning more will solve every problem. But without control, more income only creates a bigger mess. Commanding your cash flow means understanding that each dollar is an employee. Your job is to assign it a purpose and a destination. When you fail to lead, money will wander, and the result is stress, debt, and wasted opportunity. You must become the manager, not the victim. Decide in advance where every cent will work. Decide what portion goes to essential living, what portion builds your emergency reserve, and what portion begins the journey toward real wealth. This is not a call for endless deprivation. It is a call for conscious direction. When you give money clear orders, you discover that you need less drama and less guesswork. You build systems that serve you, even when life throws surprises your way. An unexpected bill or a sudden expense will not destroy your stability because you have already created a plan. The secret of cash flow mastery begins with this commitment to structure. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection. It protects your future from your present impulses. Consider the mindset shift required. Most people react to money. They wait for payday. They spend. They hope nothing goes wrong. You will act instead of react. You will see each paycheck not as a lifeline, but as a tool. You will approach your spending with intention and your saving with strategy. You will treat your cash flow like a living system to be guided and strengthened. This is the difference between control and chaos. Chaos keeps you trapped in a cycle of anxiety. Control gives you the freedom to focus on growth. A powerful strategy begins with a simple habit. Sit down each week and record every expense. No exceptions and no excuses. When you see the truth in black and white, you will find leaks you never noticed. Those leaks are silent thieves. They rob you of opportunity and keep you chained to the next paycheck. Cut them without mercy. Every unnecessary subscription, every impulsive purchase, every casual swipe of the card is a drain on your power. Redirect those dollars to a purpose you choose. Build an emergency fund that covers months of expenses. Begin investing in assets that create income while you sleep. The path to mastery is built from these consistent decisions. The mental transformation is just as important as the practical steps. You must believe that you are capable of leading your money. You must see yourself as the architect of your financial life. This belief is not arrogance. It is the foundation of responsibility. When you accept full responsibility, you stop blaming the economy, your employer, or luck. You stop waiting for a raise or a windfall to rescue you. You take action today with what you have now. That decision is where power lives. Financial discipline requires courage. It means saying no when others say yes. It means ignoring the temptation to buy what you cannot afford or to impress people who do not matter. It means focusing on long-term security instead of short-term pleasure. But the reward is immense. When you control your cash flow, you sleep without fear. You plan your future with confidence. You build wealth on your own terms. You create a life where money serves you, not the other way around. Think of every dollar as a seed. Left scattered, seeds die. Planted with care, they multiply. Your job is to plant and nurture, to water and protect, to watch the harvest grow. This is the essence of commanding your cash flow. You give each seed a place to grow. You watch it become a tree that produces fruit year after year. Wealth is not luck. Wealth is the predictable result of disciplined planting and patient tending. When you commit to this process, you break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. You no longer fear unexpected expenses. You no longer wonder where the money went. You know where it goes because you told it where to go. You have transformed from someone who serves money to someone who is served by it. That is the promise of cash flow mastery. Chapter 2. The Engine of Wealth. Build your income-generating assets. Start creating streams that flow while you sleep. Quote, "The single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If trained well, it can create enormous wealth. This is not a slogan to inspire you for a moment and then fade away. It is a challenge that demands discipline, strategy, and relentless focus. Your mind is the engine, and the assets you build are the gears that keep your wealth moving long after you stop working. When you understand that passive income is not a dream, but a system you create with deliberate choices, you begin to master the secret of cash flow. The first step is clarity. You must see your current finances with absolute honesty. Track every source of income and every expense, not to judge yourself, but to know the playing field. Once you have a complete picture, you can direct your resources toward asset generation. Assets are not random purchases or speculative bets. They are structures that create continuous income with minimal daily effort. Real estate that provides steady rent, dividend-paying stocks, bonds that deliver reliable interest, intellectual property such as books or courses that sell while you sleep, and ownership stakes in well-run businesses all qualify as true income-generating assets. Each choice must be backed by research, sound numbers, and a plan for risk management. Developing multiple income streams is not about luck. It is about building and stacking small engines of cash flow until they collectively surpass your living costs. Start with one stream and nurture it. Reinvest the profits to create the second. As each asset grows, you will feel a shift in control. The anxiety of relying on a single paycheck begins to disappear because you have created a network of support that works without your constant presence. Your investment strategy must match your temperament and long-term goals. Some people prefer the stability of rental properties, where cash flow is predictable and tangible. Others thrive in the market by selecting companies that pay increasing dividends year after year. Still others combine digital products, licensing deals, or carefully chosen private businesses to diversify their risk. The common thread is discipline. You do not chase trends or gamble. You analyze, you plan, you execute, and you let time amplify your returns. Training your mind is the foundation of every step. Financial intelligence is not a gift. It is a skill set you develop. Study market cycles, learn how to read financial statements, and understand how leverage and compounding work. Surround yourself with mentors and information that sharpen your perspective. The more you know, the clearer the opportunities become, and the faster you recognize hidden value where others see nothing. The secret of cash flow mastery is not about working harder. It is about designing systems where money works harder than you ever could. A single rental property might pay for your groceries. A portfolio of dividend stocks could cover your utilities. A digital course that sells worldwide might fund your vacations. Each asset is a small servant in a larger army, and together they grant you freedom of time and choice. Do not underestimate patience. Building an engine of wealth is not an overnight project. It requires steady contribution, reinvestment, and the humility to let compounding do its quiet work. But as the months and years pass, you will notice a transformation. Your assets begin to pay your bills. Your savings grow without new effort. You make decisions based on vision rather than fear. In the end, the true measure of success is independence. When the income from your assets covers every expense, you have achieved financial freedom. You are no longer bound to a job for survival. You can choose work that inspires you or step away entirely. This is the reward for training your mind and building streams of passive income with precision and courage. The engine of wealth is waiting. Your mind is ready to be trained. Begin today by creating one income-generating asset and commit to the discipline that multiplies it. With each deliberate action, you move closer to the life where your money never sleeps and your freedom is secure. This is the essence of the secret of cash flow mastery. Turn money into your servant. Chapter 3. The Ruthless Truth. Is your asset actually stealing your cash flow? Quote, "A house is a liability, not an asset, if it takes money out of your pocket every month." That quote cuts through the polite myths you have been told about wealth. It challenges the comfortable lie that everything with a price tag and a title deed is automatically an asset. I have spent decades examining financial statements for businesses and individuals, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that many so-called investments are nothing more than expensive distractions. If something drains your bank account month after month, it is not building your future. It is bleeding it dry. This is the ruthless truth you must face before you can master cash flow. Look at your own life with the cold eye of an auditor. List every property, vehicle, or investment you proudly call an asset. Now track the monthly movement of money connected to each one. Does it consistently put cash in your pocket after all expenses, or does it quietly pull dollars away in maintenance fees, taxes, and hidden costs? The answer is often uncomfortable, but honesty is the first step toward freedom. Financial statements do not lie. Income is income, and expense is expense. If it subtracts, it is a liability, no matter how impressive it looks on paper. The secret of cash flow. Mastery demands that you stop dressing liabilities in the clothing of assets. I have seen families cling to large homes that devour their earnings, believing that future appreciation will rescue them. Appreciation is speculation, not cash flow. Until that property feeds you every month, it is not serving you. I have seen entrepreneurs pour money into shiny equipment that produces no profit, convinced it is an investment in growth. Without consistent positive cash flow, that equipment is dead weight. Your job is to strip away emotion and evaluate each line item with brutal clarity. True assets are simple to define, but rare to hold. A true asset produces net positive cash after every expense, even when you are asleep. Rental property with reliable tenants and a surplus after mortgage and maintenance is an asset. Dividend-paying stocks that deposit money into your account quarter after quarter are assets. A business that earns profit without your daily presence is an asset. Everything else must earn its place by the same rule. If it does not put money in your pocket, it is working against you. Cash flow leakage is the silent killer of wealth. It hides in small expenses you barely notice, and in large commitments you defend with pride. A luxury car with high insurance and endless upkeep is a leak. A vacation property that sits empty and costs you more in taxes than it brings in through rent is a leak. Even gadgets and subscriptions can drain thousands over a year. Your task is to hunt every leak, no matter how small, and seal it. The discipline to do this separates those who command their finances from those who remain servants to their bills. Conduct a personal financial statement review as if you were the chief financial officer of a major corporation. List your assets, liabilities, income, and expenses with no excuses and no rounding in your favor. Face the raw numbers. This exercise is not glamorous, but it is powerful. When you see clearly where money enters and where it escapes, you gain the authority to redirect it. The moment you identify a false asset and act to correct it, you reclaim cash flow that can be invested in something that truly serves you. The secret of cash flow. Mastery is not a theory. It is a practice built on action and precision. You must be relentless. You must be willing to sell, cut, or restructure anything that fails the test of a true asset. This may mean downsizing a home, liquidating underperforming investments, or canceling long-term commitments you once thought were untouchable. Each tough decision becomes a declaration that your money will work for you and not the other way around. Remember that freedom is not about how many possessions you display, but about how much income you command without effort. When your balance sheet is filled with assets that pay you and stripped of liabilities that drain you, you create a financial engine that runs even while you sleep. That engine is the heart of lasting wealth. It gives you choice, security, and the ability to live on your own terms. Stop deceiving yourself. The numbers never lie. Every dollar must have a job, and that job is to generate more dollars. Master this ruthless truth, and you master the very core of financial independence. The secret of cash flow. Mastery is waiting for those bold enough to face their financial reality and turn money into a faithful servant rather than a silent thief. Chapter 4. Plug your cash flow leaks now. Quote, "A penny saved is a penny earned. You cannot hope to turn money into your servant if it is escaping through cracks you refuse to see." Cash flow leaks are silent thieves that erode your freedom one small decision at a time, and they thrive on your lack of attention. This is not about living small or denying yourself what you value. It is about ruthless efficiency and the discipline to direct every dollar toward your highest purpose. Every unnecessary expense is a drain on the life you are working to build. Every careless purchase is a lost opportunity to strengthen your future. You must face this truth with courage and precision. Begin with a clear analysis of your expenses. Sit down with your bank statements, your credit card records, and your receipts, and confront the reality of where your money goes. Identify patterns of waste that have become invisible habits, subscriptions you never use, fees you tolerate because they seem too minor to challenge, daily impulse purchases that promise comfort but deliver only regret. These are the holes in your financial vessel. Each one must be recognized before it can be sealed. There is no shortcut here, no quick fix, only the steady practice of awareness and accountability. Budgeting is not a punishment. It is a strategy of liberation. A disciplined budget is not a cage, but a map that shows you how to keep your money in motion toward your goals. When you create a budget with intention, you give every dollar a mission. You tell your income where to go instead of wondering where it went. This level of control is not about deprivation. It is about empowerment. A strong budget turns chaos into clarity and replaces financial anxiety with confidence. Optimization follows awareness. Once you see where your cash is leaking, you must act decisively. Cancel the services you do not use. Negotiate lower rates where you can. Replace inefficient habits with choices that serve you. Brew your coffee at home if buying it daily adds no real value to your life. Review your insurance policies for better terms. Examine your energy use and cut unnecessary consumption. Small steps compound into powerful results when you pursue them with consistency. A single leak may seem harmless, but together they form a flood that drowns opportunity. Discipline is your greatest ally. Without it, even the best plan collapses. Discipline means saying no to purchases that do not align with your vision, no matter how tempting they appear in the moment. It means holding yourself accountable when excitement urges you to deviate from your budget. It means treating every dollar as a worker that must be assigned a productive task. When you master this level of self-control, you stop being a passive participant in your financial life and become the architect of your own wealth. Remember that waste is not only about obvious extravagance. Waste hides in small, routine decisions that feel normal. Leaving lights on in empty rooms, paying for apps you forgot you subscribed to, accepting bank fees because you do not want to make a phone call. These are all leaks. Each one chips away at the capital you could be investing, saving, or using to create passive income streams. Refuse to dismiss the small numbers. They are the silent destroyers of long-term growth. The secret of cash flow. Mastery demands relentless attention to detail. You cannot delegate this first step. The process itself builds the mindset of control and responsibility that creates lasting wealth. As you plug each leak, you are not only preserving money, you are training yourself to think differently, to value discipline over impulse, to recognize that financial strength is built one decision at a time. Optimization is not a single event, but a continuous practice. Markets change, needs evolve, and opportunities shift. Review your budget regularly. Challenge every expense again and again. Ask yourself whether each outflow still earns its place in your life. What was essential last year may be waste today. This is how you keep your cash flow strong and flexible. The power of this chapter lies in the transformation of your habits. By reclaiming wasted dollars and redirecting them toward savings and investments, you give your money the chance to work for you instead of against you. That is the essence of turning money into your servant. You cannot build wealth on a leaking foundation. Seal the cracks, guard every penny. Refuse to let unnoticed waste undermine your future. The path is clear, but it requires action. Begin now. Analyze, budget, optimize, and discipline yourself until efficiency becomes second nature. Each step strengthens your financial fortress and frees your mind from the quiet drain of careless spending. The moment you plug your cash flow leaks is the moment you stop working only for today and start building the life you have always envisioned. Chapter 5. Master the flow. Predict, control, and dominate your finances. Quote, "To acquire money requires valor. To keep money requires prudence. And to spend money well is an art. True mastery of finances goes far beyond simply earning a paycheck or saving a portion of your income. It is about cultivating foresight, building unwavering control, and understanding the intricate patterns that govern cash flow. The secret of cash flow mastery demands that you anticipate the future movements of money, both incoming and outgoing, with precision and clarity. It is not enough to react to financial pressures as they arise. You must develop the ability to predict cash flow cycles, to map your inflows and outflows in a way that reveals opportunities before others even see them. This requires a deliberate and methodical strategy, one that accounts for volatility, uncertainty, and the unexpected. Creating substantial financial reserves is essential because they provide the freedom to act decisively when opportunities present themselves and the resilience to withstand downturns without panic or compromise. Contingency planning is not optional. It is the cornerstone of financial dominance. You must understand the cyclical nature of money, how economic shifts, market trends, and personal decisions interact to create periods of abundance and scarcity. When you achieve this level of insight, you stop being a passive participant in your financial life. You begin to orchestrate every movement of capital with intention and authority. You allocate resources strategically, directing money toward ventures that generate growth while minimizing exposure to risks that could undermine your progress. Dominating your cash flow does not mean accumulating wealth without purpose. It means leveraging every dollar to create sustained advantage, building systems and structures that work even when you are not actively managing them. Insight becomes your greatest tool as you continuously evaluate and adjust your strategy based on real-time information and long-term projections. You cultivate a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities, downturns as lessons, and every financial decision as a step toward mastery. This is a process that requires discipline, education, and an unyielding commitment to self-awareness. It is the ability to forecast trends, control outcomes, and dominate the flow of money that separates those who merely survive from those who thrive and lead. You must embrace the art of financial prudence while simultaneously exercising boldness in your decisions. You learn to recognize when to conserve, when to invest, and when to capitalize on momentary advantages. The mastery of cash flow is ultimately the mastery of freedom, because when money is under your control, it becomes a tool that serves your objectives rather than a force that dictates your choices. Every reserve, every contingency, every strategic allocation of resources contributes to a system where you are always several steps ahead, where insight transforms into action, and where dominance over your finances ensures that you maintain an enduring edge. Financial mastery is not a destination, but a continual practice of vigilance, foresight, and strategic implementation. By predicting trends before they arrive, controlling the allocation of your resources, and dominating the flow of money with unwavering precision, you transform financial uncertainty into opportunity, scarcity into abundance, and reactive survival into proactive leadership. True mastery means that your financial decisions are never left to chance, emotion, or circumstance. Instead, they are guided by a disciplined strategy informed by knowledge, experience, and foresight. By internalizing these principles, you cultivate the capacity to steer your finances through complexity and volatility, always ensuring that your resources are aligned with your goals, safeguarded against unforeseen setbacks, and positioned to maximize long-term advantage. This is the essence of mastering cash flow, the ability to predict, control, and dominate your financial reality, turning money into a servant that works tirelessly to advance your vision, support your ambitions, and secure your freedom. Chapter 6. The Art of the Deal. Finding Cash Flow Opportunities. Quote, "An investor's job is to simply increase the velocity of money. You are surrounded by untapped cash flow opportunities, but most people pass them by every day because they lack the vision to see what is hidden in plain sight. The art of finding cash flow opportunities is not reserved for a select few. It is a skill that anyone willing to learn can master. The foundation of this skill begins with understanding that money has a velocity, a speed at which it moves through investments, businesses, and financial systems. The faster money moves intelligently, the greater the return on every dollar. Every successful investor understands that the objective is not simply to accumulate assets, but to acquire assets that generate cash flow consistently from day one. This is the essence of value creation, securing deals where the income stream exceeds the expenses, taxes, and liabilities associated with the investment. The first step in identifying cash flow opportunities is to train your eyes to see beyond the surface. Many people focus solely on price or aesthetics when evaluating a potential investment. The price is just a number. It is the underlying income that determines whether the deal is worthwhile. A property, a business, or a financial asset may appear expensive at first glance, but if the monthly cash flow is strong and predictable, it is a powerful tool for financial growth. Conversely, a cheap investment can become a liability if it does not generate sufficient revenue to cover its costs. Learning to separate the surface from the substance is critical to mastering cash flow deals. Once you recognize that income is the true measure of a deal, the next step is rigorous deal analysis. Deal analysis involves carefully reviewing all aspects of a potential opportunity, from operational costs to market trends, from tax implications to growth potential. Investors who succeed in generating consistent cash flow are meticulous in their evaluation. They do not rely on luck, emotion, or speculation. They demand hard numbers and realistic projections. They calculate expected income, subtract every cost, account for potential vacancies, and stress test the numbers against worst-case scenarios. This analytical discipline ensures that the deals they pursue are fundamentally sound and capable of producing the cash flow required to accelerate financial independence. Identifying opportunities also requires a keen understanding of timing and market dynamics. Cash flow deals are often about positioning. The investor who enters a market when demand is increasing, when rents or revenues are rising, or when interest rates are favorable, can acquire an asset at an advantageous price and secure a stronger income stream. Opportunity identification is not merely about finding assets that exist. It is about finding the assets that are likely to perform well in the current and future economic environment. Savvy investors constantly observe trends, monitor shifts in consumer behavior, study regulatory changes, and evaluate regional economic indicators. By doing so, they gain insight into which deals will produce predictable cash flow and which may become financial drains. Deal analysis is incomplete without assessing the cash flow potential in a systematic manner. The cash flow potential is determined not only by income, but also by leverage and financing. Using other people's money intelligently can magnify returns and accelerate wealth accumulation, but only if the underlying asset produces sufficient income to cover obligations. Investors who master this principal structure, deals where the payments on loans, taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs are all covered, leaving a positive cash flow that grows over time. This approach requires discipline, careful negotiation, and a willingness to walk away from deals that do not meet strict criteria. Positive cash flow is non-negotiable because it is the fuel that drives wealth creation and sustains financial freedom. Another crucial element of the art of the deal is strategic value creation. Cash flow deals are not static. They can be enhanced through improvements in operations, marketing, or management. For example, a rental property can increase its monthly income through renovation, better tenant screening, or professional management. A business acquisition can become more profitable by streamlining processes, improving sales strategies, or introducing complementary services. Every investor who masters cash flow understands that acquiring an asset is only the beginning. The true power lies in actively managing it to maximize income while minimizing risks. This proactive mindset differentiates those who merely hold assets from those who turn them into engines of wealth. Negotiation skills are also a critical component of identifying and securing cash flow opportunities. An investor must know how to structure terms that protect their cash flow and reduce risk. Whether negotiating purchase prices, loan terms, vendor contracts, or partnership agreements, the objective is always to ensure that the income generated exceeds the cost and effort required to maintain the asset. Confidence, knowledge, and preparation are essential because every deal is an opportunity to create lasting financial momentum. Investors who approach negotiations with clarity and precision increase their likelihood of acquiring assets that produce reliable, scalable cash flow. Opportunity identification and deal analysis are intertwined with strategy. Every acquisition should fit into a larger plan of wealth creation. A single asset is not the end goal. It is a building block in a system designed to generate multiple streams of income. Investors who succeed in cash flow mastery constantly evaluate their portfolio, seeking synergies, diversification, and growth. They allocate resources intelligently, reinvesting profits into additional cash flow generating opportunities. Each new deal compounds the velocity of money, creating a snowball effect that accelerates financial freedom. Risk management is inseparable from the art of the deal. Even the best opportunities carry potential pitfalls. Market fluctuations, unexpected expenses, regulatory changes, or mismanagement can erode cash flow, if not anticipated. Successful investors prepare for these eventualities by maintaining reserves, diversifying income sources, and continuously monitoring the performance of each asset. Cash flow mastery is about creating resilient deals that generate income under a variety of conditions. This foresight ensures that you remain in control of your finances, even when external circumstances shift. Finally, mindset is the underlying factor that determines success in finding cash flow opportunities. You must cultivate a vision that sees potential where others see obstacles. You must develop patience to wait for deals that meet strict cash flow criteria. and courage to act decisively when the right opportunity arises. You must embrace learning, continuously analyzing results and refining strategies. An investor's job, as Robert Kiyosaki states, is to increase the velocity of money. This requires vision, discipline, and relentless focus on income-producing opportunities. The secret of cash flow mastery is achieved not through luck, but through deliberate, strategic, and intelligent actions that turn every dollar into a servant that works tirelessly for your financial goals. When you master the art of the deal, you will begin to see opportunities in every corner of your financial world. Properties, businesses, stocks, and other income-generating assets will no longer appear intimidating. They will appear as tools you can acquire, manage, and grow. You will approach negotiations with confidence, analyze numbers with precision, and structure investments to ensure cash flow is positive from day one. You will understand that real wealth comes not from chasing money, but from creating systems, managing risk, and multiplying income streams strategically. The velocity of money will become your measure of success, and you will develop the skills necessary to keep it moving efficiently, consistently, and profitably. By committing to this approach, you step into a mindset that transforms ordinary opportunities into extraordinary wealth. You will no longer wait passively for income to arrive. Instead, you will actively seek, evaluate, and acquire deals that produce cash flow, value creation, and financial growth. Your financial independence will become inevitable because you have learned the rules, developed the vision, and implemented the systems required to make money work for you rather than against you. The secret of cash flow. Mastery is not a theory. It is a practice of disciplined evaluation, strategic action, and relentless pursuit of positive cash flow that transforms your life and creates lasting financial freedom. Chapter 8. Protecting your flow. Risk management for the master. Quote, "Cash flow is the lifeblood of a company. You cannot truly master your cash flow if you ignore the necessity of protecting it. Every successful individual, entrepreneur, and investor understands that accumulation of wealth is only half of the equation. Protection is equally vital. Without defensive measures, all the strategies you have implemented to generate income can be undone in an instant by unexpected events, market fluctuations, or legal complications. Risk mitigation is not an optional luxury. It is a mandatory pillar of cash flow mastery. You must examine your financial life as if it were a fortress. Every asset, every income stream, and every investment must be shielded from potential threats. Wealthy individuals understand the power of legal structures and employ them strategically. Corporations, trusts, limited liability companies, and holding companies are not merely tools for tax efficiency. They are shields that guard assets against lawsuits, creditor claims, and unforeseen liabilities. By legally structuring your holdings, you can ensure that no single event can destroy your financial foundation. Building a financial buffer is another critical component of cash flow security. You must maintain reserves that can absorb shocks such as business downturns, medical emergencies, natural disasters, or sudden market corrections. This buffer is not merely a passive safety net. It is an active enabler that allows you to take calculated risks with confidence, knowing that your basic financial systems remain protected. The buffer should be liquid, accessible, and sufficient to cover at least several months of essential expenses across all your ventures. It is a tool that ensures continuity and stability in your cash flow, giving your money the ability to continue working for you even in times of stress. Insurance is another essential aspect of protecting your cash flow. Comprehensive coverage across multiple domains, including property, liability, business interruption, health, and life insurance, acts as a force multiplier for your defensive strategies. Insurance allows you to transfer risk to third parties, providing a safety net that preserves the integrity of your cash flow. This is not merely about paying premiums. It is about understanding exposure, evaluating probabilities, and strategically managing potential threats so that unexpected events do not derail your financial plans. The goal is to create a financial environment in which your assets remain intact, your income streams remain active, and your growth trajectory remains uninterrupted. Diversification also plays a critical role in risk management. Relying on a single source of income or a single type of investment exposes you to concentrated risk that can destroy cash flow. Wealthy individuals spread their investments across multiple asset classes, industries, and geographies. This is not simply a matter of increasing returns. It is primarily a matter of reducing vulnerability. By diversifying, you create a system in which the failure or underperformance of one component does not collapse the entire structure. Each stream of cash flow becomes a pillar supporting the larger architecture of your financial empire. Protecting your flow means ensuring that no single weak link can bring down the entire system. Legal compliance and documentation are often overlooked, but vital aspects of cash flow protection. Contracts, agreements, and formalized structures create enforceable rules that define ownership, responsibilities, and rights. Without proper legal documentation, assets can be disputed, income streams can be challenged, and wealth can be lost unnecessarily. The wealthy understand that the law is not an obstacle, but a powerful tool when applied strategically. Establishing clear legal boundaries and maintaining proper documentation is essential for both asset protection and the uninterrupted flow of cash. Monitoring and reviewing your defensive strategies is equally important. Risk management is not a static process. Economic conditions change, businesses evolve, regulations shift, and personal circumstances transform. You must remain vigilant, regularly assessing your structures, buffers, and insurance to ensure that they remain effective. This ongoing oversight is what separates those who merely generate wealth from those who preserve and multiply it. Protecting cash flow is not a one-time activity. It is a continuous practice that demands attention, discipline, and expertise. Another critical consideration in cash flow protection is the management of liabilities. Liabilities can erode your financial strength faster than any external shock. It is not enough to accumulate assets if liabilities grow unchecked. Paying off high-interest debts, structuring loans wisely, and avoiding unnecessary financial obligations are essential steps. Each liability should be scrutinized for risk and potential impact on your cash flow. By minimizing liabilities, you free your income streams from obligations that would otherwise drain resources and reduce financial resilience. Education and financial literacy are the foundation of effective risk management. You cannot protect what you do not understand. Knowledge of tax implications, market behavior, legal tools, insurance products, and financial planning is indispensable. Those who succeed in cash flow mastery invest as much in learning to protect their money as they do in learning to make it. A well-informed mind can foresee potential threats, anticipate problems, and implement solutions before risks become crises. The mastery of cash flow is therefore inseparable from mastery of risk. Ultimately, the ability to protect your cash flow empowers you to act boldly and decisively. When you have built a secure foundation, you can invest, expand, and innovate without fear of catastrophic loss. Protection is not about restriction. It is about liberation. It allows your money to serve you fully, supporting your goals, ambitions, and lifestyle. You create an environment where growth is sustainable, risks are calculated, and wealth is preserved for generations. Cash flow security is the difference between temporary prosperity and lasting financial independence. Protecting your flow is a mindset as much as it is a set of actions. It requires discipline, vigilance, and foresight. Every decision should be filtered through the lens of whether it strengthens or jeopardizes your income streams. The wealthy understand that vulnerability invites failure. By contrast, preparation, structure, and legal foresight create resilience that allows money to remain your servant, even under the most challenging circumstances. This chapter teaches you to anticipate, to shield, and to maintain the continuity of your financial empire. Every protective measure you take compounds over time, creating layers of security that magnify your ability to generate, preserve, and enjoy wealth. Risk mitigation, asset protection, financial buffers, legal structures, diversification, insurance, liability management, ongoing monitoring, and financial literacy together form a comprehensive framework that ensures cash flow continues without interruption. By applying these principles, you transform uncertainty into control, vulnerability into strength, and potential loss into preserved opportunity. The secret of cash flow mastery. Turn money into your servant becomes a tangible reality when your income streams are shielded from disruption. You are no longer at the mercy of chance or circumstance. You command your finances, and your money works tirelessly on your behalf. By the end of this chapter, you will understand that protecting your flow is not secondary to wealth creation. It is the very foundation upon which true financial mastery is built. Every dollar earned is safeguarded. Every asset is strategically positioned, and every liability is managed with precision. You will be equipped to maintain stability through uncertainty, to grow boldly, and to enjoy the confidence that comes from knowing your cash flow is secure. When you protect your flow, you do not merely survive, you thrive. You create a financial legacy that endures, and you ensure that your money serves you faithfully, without interruption, for the rest of your life. Chapter 9. Good Debt versus Bad Debt. The Smart Person's Secret. Quote, "There is good debt and bad debt. You have been taught to fear debt, as if it were a disease that destroys everything in its path. The truth is far more nuanced and far more powerful. There is debt that enslaves and debt that frees. There is debt that consumes your resources and debt that multiplies your wealth. Good debt is strategic. It is purposeful. And it is your ally in building long-term financial security. Bad debt, on the other hand, is reckless, unnecessary, and rooted in consumption rather than creation. Understanding the difference is the first step to mastering cash flow. When used intelligently, debt becomes a lever, a tool to acquire assets that generate income greater than the cost of borrowing. Real estate investments, business expansions, and high-yield ventures can all be purchased using other people's money, but only if you understand the mechanics and control the risks. Avoiding debt entirely keeps you stagnant and limits your potential. The smart person learns to evaluate each borrowing opportunity by asking whether it increases cash flow or merely satisfies a short-term desire. True debt mastery requires discipline, knowledge, and strategic planning. It is about making money work for you instead of working for money. Cash flow investing, when paired with good debt, transforms potential into reality, fear into confidence, and scarcity into abundance. Bad debt drains your future. Good debt accelerates it. The secret of financial leverage lies in timing, in understanding risk, and in committing to acquire assets that earn more than they cost. Education, analysis, and patience are your greatest allies. Every smart investor knows that leveraging debt is not reckless if done with intention. It is the difference between a life constrained by payments and a life liberated by assets. A financial plan without understanding good and bad debt is incomplete, ineffective, and destined to fail. The ability to distinguish between consumption and investment, between liability and asset, is what separates those who are stuck financially from those who achieve freedom. Stop running from debt. Stop fearing the numbers. Study, calculate, and use debt as your instrument for wealth creation. Cash flow mastery is impossible without this understanding, because the moment you use good debt to acquire income-producing assets, you no longer work for money, and money begins to work for you. Every decision must be deliberate. Every acquisition must be strategic, and every dollar borrowed must contribute to a growing, sustainable financial engine. Debt is not the enemy. Ignorance is. Knowledge of financial leverage, disciplined use of borrowing, and commitment to long-term growth convert good debt into a vehicle for wealth. This is how the wealthy think, act, and thrive. You must adopt the same mindset if you wish to command your finances. The smart person knows that debt is a tool, not a trap, and that by mastering it, you open the door to opportunities that others can only dream of. Financial freedom is not achieved by avoiding debt. It is achieved by understanding which debts to embrace, which to avoid, and how to turn liabilities into assets that produce cash flow. Good debt is not luck. It is strategy. It is not risk without purpose. It is risk calculated and managed. It allows you to leverage resources beyond your personal capital and accelerates your journey toward wealth. The secret lies in the combination of knowledge, patience, and execution. Every investment financed intelligently magnifies your ability to create cash flow, increase assets, and gain control over your financial destiny. Bad debt keeps you a slave to payments and interest, while good debt makes your money work harder than you ever could on your own. To ignore this distinction is to remain trapped in mediocrity, but to embrace it is to step into the mindset of the financially empowered. Cash flow investing, debt mastery, and strategic borrowing are not concepts for the timid. They are for the decisive, for those willing to learn, analyze, and act with courage. This chapter is your guide to transforming fear into opportunity, scarcity into abundance, and confusion into mastery. Every moment you spend studying good versus bad debt is an investment in your freedom, an investment in turning money into your servant, and an investment in the life you deserve. The mastery of cash flow begins here, with the knowledge that debt, when understood and applied correctly, becomes the most powerful tool in your financial arsenal. It is not about avoiding risk. It is about managing it, controlling it, and using it to create lasting wealth. This is the smart person's secret. Chapter 10. Stop working for money. The mindset shift you need. Quote, "Rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. You must radically change how you view money if you are ever going to escape the endless cycle of working for someone else and trading your time for dollars. Most people are trapped in a system where income is measured by hours spent at a desk or by effort expended in their job. The secret of cash flow mastery does not begin with finding a higher paying position or working longer hours. It begins in the mind. The first step is understanding the fundamental difference between the mindset of those who remain employees for life and those who build lasting wealth. The poor dad mindset sees money as something to earn and spend, and success as a function of a paycheck. The rich dad mindset recognizes that real power comes from acquiring assets that generate income independently of your labor. Assets put money to work for you, while liabilities consume your resources under the illusion of being investments. To shift your mindset, you must learn to recognize liabilities disguised as assets, to question every purchase and every financial decision, and to prioritize building streams of income that continue to flow even when you sleep. Financial freedom is impossible if you continue to chase a salary and accumulate expenses that give the feeling of ownership but are actually drains on your wealth. You must see yourself not as an employee bound by time, but as a creator, an owner, and a strategist. This chapter will challenge you to identify habits, beliefs, and cultural programming that keep you locked in the employee trap. Once you accept that working for money is the slowest path to freedom, you can begin investing in knowledge, acquiring assets, and developing systems that allow money to serve your life. Cash flow mastery requires discipline, education, and the courage to reject the conventional path. Each decision you make must be guided by a clear understanding of whether it brings you closer to financial independence or merely fills your obligations. The ability to acquire assets, to let them generate income for you, and to avoid liabilities that masquerade as wealth is the single most important skill a person can develop. When you make this mental shift, you stop living paycheck to paycheck and start building a future where your time belongs to you, not to your employer. The journey is not easy, and it requires persistence, clarity, and a relentless focus on long-term goals, but the rewards are immeasurable. Imagine waking each day free from the anxiety of bills, knowing that your money works for you and not the other way around. By embracing this mindset shift, you align yourself with the principles that have created lasting wealth for generations and take control of your financial destiny. You will learn to think like an owner, make strategic investments, and create income streams that multiply over time. This is the core of cash flow mastery, transforming your relationship with money, understanding the distinction between assets and liabilities, and committing to a life where money is your servant, not your master. Stop trading hours for dollars and start building a reality where your financial independence is inevitable. The key lies in thinking differently, acting decisively, and embracing the mindset that wealth is created by the smart deployment of assets, not by labor alone. Every financial decision must be evaluated through this lens. The shift is not simply about money management. It is about fundamentally rewiring how you perceive work, income, and freedom. The moment you accept that true wealth comes from assets, that liabilities are traps, and that financial education is your most powerful tool, you take the first step toward a life of abundance. This chapter will give you the insight, the motivation, and the framework necessary to make that shift. It will teach you to stop working for money and start letting money work for you in ways that grow, compound, and sustain your independence. The mindset shift you adopt today will define your financial reality tomorrow, and mastery of this principle is the foundation of all cash flow success. Chapter 11. Your Life, Your Terms. The Ultimate Freedom of Cash Flow Mastery. Quote, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." A truth Plato expressed centuries ago, and one that now expands into a sharper reality. True wealth allows you to choose how much little or much you desire. This is not a call to deprivation or excess. It is the ultimate expression of freedom, the power to decide for yourself and to live by your own measure. You have pursued the discipline of cash flow mastery with determination. You have tracked, invested, automated, and built assets that serve you while you sleep. Now you stand in a place where money no longer commands your schedule or your state of mind. You have turned money into your servant, and with that transformation comes a life defined by your own terms. Freedom in this stage is not an illusion of endless spending, but the quiet strength of choice. You can choose to work or to rest, to travel or to remain rooted, to build new ventures or to simply enjoy the life you have already created. You can decide to live with little and feel complete, or to expand and create more, because the decision is fully yours. The hours of your day belong to you, and that ownership is the most valuable asset you will ever hold. Purpose takes center stage when cash flow mastery becomes a living reality. Without the constant pressure of bills and obligations, you can focus on what matters most. You can give your time to the people you love, devote your energy to a craft or a cause that stirs your heart, and design a future that reflects your deepest convictions. Money becomes a resource you direct toward impact, whether that means supporting a community, mentoring others on their own financial journeys, or creating opportunities for the next generation. Your wealth is not just measured in numbers, it is measured in the meaning you create and the legacy you leave. Legacy is the natural extension of true freedom. With your finances under control, you can plan far beyond the present moment. You can establish foundations, invest in projects that will outlive you, or simply ensure that your family inherits more than assets. They inherit the mindset of empowerment and autonomy. The systems you built, the habits you reinforced, and the wisdom you embodied will continue to influence lives long after your own. This is the lasting reward of mastering cash flow. You have given the gift of choice not only to yourself, but to those who come after you. Empowerment flows through every decision you now make. You are no longer driven by fear of scarcity. You no longer ask whether you can afford to follow your heart. Instead, you ask what purpose will bring the greatest fulfillment, and you act with confidence because you have the resources to support your vision. You have earned this strength through years of intentional practice. Your autonomy is not a sudden windfall. It is the natural result of steady, disciplined action and the unwavering belief that money should work for you. Autonomy reshapes your relationship with time. Days are no longer dictated by external demands, but by your own priorities. You can spend an afternoon learning, creating, or simply breathing in silence without the shadow of financial worry. You can engage in work purely for the joy it brings, not for the paycheck it provides. This is the life that cash flow mastery delivers. A life where time is truly yours and where every moment reflects your chosen values. Living on your terms does not mean you stop growing. It means you grow deliberately. You pursue opportunities not because you must, but because you want to. You invest in ideas that excite you, collaborate with people who inspire you, and take risks that align with your vision. You understand that money is abundant when guided by purpose, and that wealth expands when it serves something greater than accumulation. Your choices are sharper, your focus clearer, because you are no longer distracted by the noise of financial survival. This is the ultimate freedom of cash flow mastery. It is the point where discipline and desire meet, where practical systems merge with personal passion, where every financial decision supports a life of intention. You have moved beyond survival and beyond the endless chase for more. You have arrived at a state where wealth and purpose coexist, where money flows naturally and obediently toward the life you have designed. Now you live by your own terms. You wake when you choose. You create because it fulfills you. You give because you can. You stand as proof that the greatest wealth is not in possessions, but in the unshakable ability to decide what matters. You have mastered cash flow. You have mastered yourself. And with that mastery comes a legacy of freedom that no market fluctuation or economic storm can ever take away. This is your life. These are your terms. Live them fully and without apology.